Aurora. Oh, okay, so apparently connecting to Ethernet was not the solve for my frame drop issues, but at least if I tank down the quality a bit, it solves the issues. But anyways, hello. I was a little bit close to not streaming today because I was kind of feeling tired, but then I got energy at the last minute, so yay for that. I did connect my computer to Ethernet to try to solve the weird frame drops I was having yesterday, but I'm just guessing it's something with my internet provider just being useless. I was not having these issues a couple weeks ago, so I'm not quite sure what the issue is. Um, I've been running speed tests every now and then, and it's been like fine too, so that's also really weird. But oh well. Like I said, if I tank the quality down, it works, and I don't really need a whole lot for art. The games I plan on playing, if I do play them, are kind of crusty anyways, so it kind of works out. um, I also dropped the frame rate too down to 30 since don't really need 60 for art, and I think VNN is already running at 30 for some reason. I don't know. But and that's literally the only like thing that uses frames at this point. But yeah, um, had a very chill day at work today, but for some reason I just kind of was like demotivated after work and just kind of laid down for a couple hours and then regretted it and was like, oh crap. But like I said, I got some energy, but yeah. Here's hi PJ. Hi. um, hope you're doing well. Um, trying to think if I have anything else really. Oh yeah, I said I was going to work on the picture more. Um, that didn't happen. I just kind of left it where it was, which is fine. I think it's probably better anyways that I just do it on stream entirely. So, because yeah, I just kind of laid down instead and then played some games. I started Angerfoot today, which was one of the many games in my backlog that I've been wanting to get to. I only got through like the first couple tutorial levels basically, but I was like getting frustrated with Megabonk already, like within like 15 minutes. Was like, I'm gonna play something else. I'm like, you know what, Anchorfoot's right here. This is like the exact kind of game where if I feel like I'm doing bad, it's because of me and not the game deciding for me. How's Angerfoot? It's satisfying. The music and everything is good. I used to listen to a lot of hardstyle and hardcore when I was younger, so it was nice to like see that in a game or hear that in a game, I should say, because you don't really hear that much outside. It always felt like a weirdly niche genre, even though there's like mainstream hardcore with like millions of views and stuff. I'm gonna adjust my mic real quick. There we go. Um, and it's definitely like one of those. If you want unique games, you just gotta look for indie nowadays. You can't get a whole lot with AAA, I guess. Why am I squinting when I look over? That's weird. Also, I need to do the looks at you hotly. There we go. Now that I'm on, I need to figure out if I can set up a hotkey for that. Although I want to try out Warudo. Um, tomorrow is my last day of work until I have a week off, so I will have time to like look into a lot more things. So Um, but yeah, got, mm, I think I just need to turn my speakers. I think that's actually at a good spot. My speakers are low. There we go. But yeah, um, and I already like with Angerfoot, I got my PRF is not open. I got the 3 stars for the first 2 levels. So I think the first level, it's like you got to complete it in 15 seconds. I did like in 8, and then hit 3 of the dudes at the same time. Oh, with 1 kick. That's what it was. And then the next one was, I need to turn on my ring light. Maybe that'll help. The other one was 10 headshots, which I think that took me like a few attempts really. And then what was the other one? No, it was the other one was just doing kicks only, and that one took a few attempts because I kept dying. But yeah, I'm gonna turn my like room lights off. Well, not off, but down. I think that's also, yeah, I think that was the problem. It's overwhelmingly bright for the camera. I still like opening Megabonk. It's just a matter of I can't play it for very long, which is fine. Base layer, please. There's so many whole. I think I just did not go around and make sure that everything was filled. Disco. Oh yeah, there's like so many like there's just like seams. I need to like go through here and fix all these like seams. That's like the one problem with doing the bucket fill that I do. It's also annoying because there's some spots where it's actually not a seam, it's just the layer on top. Actually, it might help if I do this. Maybe go transparent. Yeah, that'll help. So far, no drop frames. Love to see it. I wish we had fiber. Fiber would fix me. That could be taken multiple ways, I guess. Not that I have the other fiber problem. I'm just saying that I just remembered fiber also being a different thing. What is that? Eyes emoji. Yeah, I need to look outside and see if that fucking weird junction is still hanging from the cables out there. There's across our street, there is literally just a giant tube, or at least there was like a few weeks ago, of just internet cable or phone cable or just cable hanging from the wires. And I'm like, what the fuck is it? It was just like that for at least a couple weeks. And we could tell like when our internet, like if it was windy outside, our internet would just go out briefly for moments at a time. And I'm like, you can't just leave that dangling there. What the hell? It might be gone now. I just have not. Oops, wrong layer. I haven't really paid attention the last couple times we like left the house. GU1. I'm like losing track of what I'm looking at a little bit. Need to also, one of the things I need to like do at some point this week is set up more playlists because I only have a couple of them. Basically, just my ambient game music. Oh, it like OSTs, like Shapes 2 and a bunch of other those kinds of music. My Gaga playlist and then my Thal playlist, and then that was it that I have so far. I had one for the annex, but I just replaced like all of his music files with like better ones. But I also need to like set up a replacement for Jellyfin because Jellyfin is just not cutting it anymore. It has so many like performance issues. Like it took several hours to add 20 new music albums, and I'm like, this is unacceptable. It should not take that long. And I think it's just incapable of handling some archives I have of like a bunch of art and AD stuff from like Twitter and then Blue Sky. Those are like by far like my largest media galleries. And it's a lot of files. And I think Jellyfin is not capable of handling a lot of files. I think it's only capable of handling larger media like movies. And they also said like image support was quote unquote second class, which is wild. It's fucking images. How hard can it, what can an image cost? Some pixels? Like, hello? What the hell does that mean? But there's other better solutions for music and for um images. That's the word I was looking for. Like image archives specifically. Hmm. I need to. This isn't correct. It's like this finger looks really large. It's just the problem with finding new stuff for all that involves setting it all up. And then it also means I would have to redo my setup for my music because right now what I'm doing is literally just doing a crop of the Jellyfin media player as the overlay for stream. Which is why sometimes you see like the volume control show up and all that because it's literally just a window capture. Because I don't think there's any like OBS integration with something like that. Honestly, there's so many like art ideas I've had lately that there's a good chance it might take me a while to actually ever get to a game. Because I also kind of want to do like my VR chat model work on stream and then world design on stream. After all I did initially, the idea with me streaming was going to be game dev stuff because there wasn't a whole lot of people doing game dev really. So I was like, this would actually be something interesting and different from the oversaturated market that is Twitch. um, Not that I don't really care too much about like quote unquote making it. But at the same time, it would still be nice to have a reason to watch in the first place. But then when I first tried streaming in February, that is what I was doing, was game dev. And because it was my first stream, I think that has a huge bearing on the fact that it kind of went poorly. Just having so much anxiety, and like it was like the first time I had really tried doing game dev since I basically graduated college. And so there was a lot of things that used to come naturally to me that I couldn't remember basic things like how to move a character controller anymore. And that was kind of what I was working on. But also at the same time, I feel like I don't want to do coding on stream. I don't think it would be interesting. I can't really talk and code at the same time. Like I can do art and talk at the same time pretty easily, but coding was like I could just kind of tell it was not going to go well if I continued to code. Which there's still things I can probably do. There's like plenty like level design and all that. And like just do light coding as necessary. It wouldn't have to be, I don't know. I could find a way to still make it work, but I would have to actually work on a project for a bit and then get it to a point where that is a thing. So, and I don't really have anything right now that's lined up for that. So, yet. So I was like, okay, I'll just do gaming, I guess, and maybe art. Although I was like nervous about doing art too, because I thought I might have the same issue of like the performance anxiety. But I'm really glad I tried it anyways, because it's actually been nice and working out. Even though there's plenty of other people who also do art, and I don't even do it as like a job or anything. This is entirely a hobby. So I'm not like the best at it. It's still like a nice thing to do in the meantime, especially to like really get the hang of things. The pig inside. Squealer, 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 you're so disgusting. A pig inside. This is going to sound insane to anyone who ever watches VODs. Like, what the fuck are you singing? I mean, it's on the screen, but without hearing it, but you are doing it. Exactly. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. Nope. Oh no. There we go. um right around there. Do that. Do you? Do you? And then do you? And then this tone. Thought I saw something on my screen, but maybe it was just like someone's going live or something. I don't know. There's like something there, but by the time I processed it, I'm like, there's nothing there. It's kind of weird that Twitch shows notifications like that on the stream manager. I feel like it's a little distracting. Maybe there's probably a setting for it somewhere. There's like 100 settings for notifications, I recently realized. Because there's something I needed to turn off in particular that was driving me insane. Crunchy bones, crunchy, crunchy bones. Um, I still have the head to do. I still need to give head. I mean, what? Who said that? That wasn't me. You're just hearing things. Smile. I love saying words. Ah, my tablet is moving. Don't do that. Oh, this is going to be a little rough. 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 Oh, what the hell? What is this? You can't even see it on the screen. There's just like a menu of things on my screen. That was weird. Also annoying that it doesn't even show up on OBS, so you have no idea what I saw. I think it was like command. It looked like the fucking VS Code command window for running commands like fold block comments and all that. But like for Krita, I guess. I did not know that existed. What the hell did I just do? Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. Ruff. Ruff. Gosh, I love that noise has like legitimately like changed my life, I think, a little. Or at the very least rewired my brain. Fashion. Slay. 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 There are still holes in the base layer. Go away. Whoa. I'm kind of working on the ears to procrastinate doing the face. I kind of don't want to do the face. Not gonna lie. It is a little bit daunting. Even though I'm definitely going to have to do it. Need a drink. Just a second. Okay. I feel like I haven't been talking as much as yesterday, and yet feel like I've been talking a lot the way I need and like really thirsty. Maybe it's because I've been thirsty in the other way, and now it's just becoming the the normal way. I have been feeling like I need to sneeze for like almost since I went live. It's driving me insane. I need to remember to start taking allergy medicine. Yes, it isn't as bad as I've had before, but it is driving me insane a little bit. I think it's just because it is now allergy season again. And I have not been taking anything for it yet. I'm really bad about like remembering to take a medication, admittedly. This should be a little bit close. I cannot see where I'm color picking. There we go. And then go to this color. Kind of make it there. I feel like this is still a little too dark. Oops. Mary Jane Holland. Yeah, I am admittedly not. Don't have like a whole lot to talk about today, I think. I'm like trying to think of things to go off about. And struggling a little bit. I could talk about. I was thinking about some ideas for VR chat worlds. Because I've been thinking about doing kind of like a semi-furry recreation of the bee clubs, plus maybe just some like other nice things that I've encountered in some like other worlds that I've liked. Um, Obviously I don't want to like just straight up like rip off any particular world too much. But I have been kind of thinking of like basically the Presidium from Mass Effect, and specifically, I guess the Presidium is already the specific area now that I think about it. Like the like main open area of the Presidium is like particularly really nice and would be nice to maybe kind of just work as like a mood board piece. Because it would obviously be kind of more than just being the Presidium. Um, I don't know how much I want to incorporate like a whole lot of the games and stuff because I really don't feel like. I mean, I'll probably just have areas where there can be gaming later. I mean, obviously, I mean, everyone was talking about this when Harvest was talking about his aspirations for making a world, to iterate and not just try to do everything at once. And that is definitely like something to think of. Probably gonna like do just some like doodles of like general layouts and like this will be this area and etc. during my little week break, and then maybe do some stuff with Pro Builder, which is like a leveled as like prototyping thing in Unity. Um, just do that on stream, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I'm thinking about if it would be interesting enough. I mean, it'd be easy to like verbalize like what I'm thinking, I think. Time from your zombie vibe. I don't like have a whole lot of like general ideas in mind yet. It's kind of just like taking an inventory of what a world needs really at this point. And I want it to be kind of like a general purpose world. But I think I want to since I would be iterating. I'm trying to think if I want to go for the more like party areas first or the cozy areas, or if maybe there's a way I can like balance the two. I don't know. Just in balance in terms of like workload. Like what the most important part to get done first so that like people can maybe try out the world to see if what is working, what isn't, etc. This is kind of, now that I look at my reference, it's kind of like that. I can be a type in your zombie vibes. Ah. Like waiting out for a zombie. So get the house out with me, you zombie boy. Hi, Ren. Welcome on in. Hope you're having a nice night. Man, this Gaga cooked with this album. God, I want to do more music. Oh my God, there's an analog synth I've seen that I really want because it's only like $200 and it looks, I want to play with it so bad. I want to play with analog synth so bad. Doing good, writing some code. Nice. I am almost done blocking out the shading for this. I'm suffering through the face right now. There's just so many like I need to like break things down and it's really hard to break down the face a little bit. Even with a render right in front of me. I could make you believe. Like 1, 2, 3. Let's see. But yeah, I think if I'm going to do a world, it's probably best if I just have a general hangout area and then maybe just like, oops, have like a couple of like alcoves or something. I'll figure it out once I start doodling some areas. It's like a real disease. Actually, this is kind of more like this. A VR chat world? Yes, this I was talking about for a little while now. It's kind of funny because Harbus is like making a whole big thing of I'm gonna do a sub incentive for a VR chat world, which I'm just like, oh no, I was already thinking of doing one myself for a hot minute because oh yeah, it was so nice hearing him like have so much passion for it. Even if I was kind of like, oh no, I had the same idea, not for like a sub incentive, just something I want to do, but it was like it doesn't matter. He's so passionate about it, and that made me just very happy to see, since he's kind of been a little bit down lately about not having passion, which he's kind of felt like he doesn't have it to begin with, and it's just like, no, you just haven't found what you need is all. That's all it is. Just like with him saying he felt like he wasn't feeling emotions a whole lot anymore. It's like you just haven't had like the right things for that. And I mean, he figured that with Outer Worlds, of course, but yeah, it was nice hearing him be so excited for it. And he just kept, like, every 10 minutes, anytime someone new came in, he was like, oh my gosh, let me tell you about this whole idea again. And I'm like, you're so adorable. uh, but yeah, did I say Outer Worlds? God damn it. I don't like Outer Worlds. But no, yeah, I meant Outer Wilds. Didn't those come out at the same, like, around the same time too? So it was like even more confusing saying those two games at the same time. Uh, um, but yeah, excitement is very cute. Yes, it very much is. Anyone expressing it is just like, for me, it's incredibly infectious. It's like, I don't even care if, like, you straight up are repeating yourself. I don't care. It's just infectious and it's lovely to hear. But yeah, a lot of people lately have kind of just been saying they miss B Club, and B Club has kind of become adware, and now it has like AI ads and shit. And I kind of have not been liking a whole lot of the worlds I've been in lately. Either performance issues, one of the worlds has a fucking shitty AI skybox, or just the layout of the world is not good. I mean, people are just kind of like playing around with new worlds, so it's fine. They're seeing what works and what doesn't, so it's not like I hold it against anyone. It's just like, I don't know, I kind of feel like I, at this point, have a bit of a grasp of what I want in a world. So I mean, I don't have a whole lot of experience with VR chat, admittedly, and I don't have VR, so I know that's going to be a huge handicap for making one, because it's definitely a different perspective, but that's what playtesting is for. So it was cool to see, and I hope he can learn and work on a lot of cool things. 3D stuff is very difficult and takes a long time. Yeah, that's the one thing I'm worried about, is that he might not realize just how, I mean, he said he doesn't mind it being a year-long project, which I think is a doable scope, maybe, but you definitely have to spend quite a bit of time on it. And I know he's kind of said time management has not been his strongest lately. But he has plenty of people to help him, with like I mean, Deke was straight up just being like, if you need someone to yell at you as a project manager or a producer, I should say, that was the term. Because that is kind of what the producer does, is just gotta make sure things are going on track. You've dabbled. Yeah, I offered as well, just from a Unity perspective and Blender perspective, because I mean, I literally have used Unity since 2011. I was 11 years old. That's how I got into game dev, and that's what my degree is in. And I did take like a course specifically in level design. When I chatted a lot with the level design person on our team when I was working on campus. So like I got like quite a bit of like level design perspective. I don't have like a whole lot with the VR chat SDK specifically, but it's an SDK. It's you can just learn as you go, and I think most of what he would have problems with is like the Unity stuff, where the documentation for VR chat would make assumptions about what you know and don't know, possibly, just because I mean, they try to be good about people who haven't you don't who aren't like game devs, so they're decent about that. But it's really hard as a developer to keep that in mind when you're writing documentation. Documentation is just like one of the hardest things to do, and that's one of the reasons why, because of just knowledge bias, I guess is what you would call that, maybe. And like I know a fair bit about like performance optimization too, because I've always been a stickler about optimizing where you can, and that's something no one else fucking is with VR chat. Use texture atlases. Anyways, I will just keep banging that drum so much. I know it's not the only, it is not the only thing, but it's like literally it is the easiest. I shouldn't say the easiest. It is like the biggest performance gain you can get noticeably is optimizing how many materials you're using and how many textures, separate individual textures you're loading. If you can atlas stuff together, which they have like tools to like help do that automatically, which is good if you're like using not your models, probably. Basic worlds are pretty easy to make. Yeah, I figure like really all you need is the world descriptor and you're kind of set. And then it's just about the layout at that point. I think it's the more complicated things of like video player and games and all that. Handling the private rooms, because both of us want that in our world. So I was low-key thinking it would be cool if we could like work on our worlds side by side. That way we could like bounce things off each other, especially like knowledge things. I don't know if that would be something he would be interested in though, and he streams at a time. Well, it doesn't have to be while he's streaming, duh. And he's probably, I don't know if he would be doing his stuff on stream or not. That's a thing I want to ask him actually, just out of my own curiosity. But yeah, I was saying earlier that the world I want to make is kind of just like the best of like B Club 3 and 4, and then some other worlds I've like liked certain parts of them. Definitely, I think I know people are kind of like pose as crusty and all that, but I do just remove the lighting effect and I kind of like the open dance area, so I think having that would be really nice. Maybe doing one stream a week on the project. Okay. He unfortunately, like now that he has moved even earlier, now it's literally like it starts at 2 for me and ends at like 6. So it is basically I'm working most of the time. But yeah. But yeah, just the best of those worlds. And then like one of the main things to try to solve for the my idea for solving the issue of people staying at spawn is incorporating like randomized spawn points. You don't have to have just one spawn point. You can define a collection of them. And I think that would really help. Just have different like entrances to a place. and then having like a bunch of teleporters everywhere. So just like literally just a list of common areas that you can select from and then easily go to. And I'm like futzing about with this a little bit too much, and I need to hurry up. But the other idea, and I think this is kind of what someone else might have also said, or maybe he said it, but having it be like I think maybe it was Kiba who said this. I don't remember. Having like a enclosed area where like no one else is. It's kind of like a private room where it's like a separate mini instance inside the instance, so that you're, no matter what, you're alone when you spawn there, and then you have the list of locations to teleport to. That would be the other option. But kind of like whenever I join a world that's kind of like that, it's a little off-putting. So I think I might just go for randomize, like a collection of spawn points. The teleport room a couple times. Yeah. Cause like my issue with that is like it's a little disorienting, just because it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like, oh, no one's here. Okay, how do I get anywhere? And you kind of have to like figure it out. And I'm sure in VR, that's probably even more disorienting than the desktop user. Sorry, I'm getting a drink real quick. Like but it's a little odd. Better see some activity and move towards it. Yeah, it's my only issue with like that being a common sentiment with people saying that is that um that's just not what people are looking at it too much as like a gamification of trying to social engineer people away from spawn. And they don't account for the fact that what is the first thing you see when you spawn into the world? You see the people, and you see someone you want to talk to. You see the closest person you want to talk to, so you go to them. So I think you can only solve the problem to a point. Just make the spawn better. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of an almost impossible problem to solve. It's just going to inevitably happen based off of how quickly people are spawning in and how many and all that. I don't know. But I think there are ways to mitigate it. And I think randomized spawns could maybe help. But I could be wrong. Because I feel like I've spawned in areas where there are bigger spawns, there are smaller spawns, it's like a funnel. You start at the funnel tip, you start at the end of the funnel. Like, I'm trying to think of what I'm saying here. It's like it's happened with so many different like single spawns that I'm kind of like, I don't know. I just think there's maybe a reason why it's kind of been an unsolved problem to a degree. But yeah, what I was thinking was for like my world was like B Club, but like make it kind of like the Presidium from Mass Effect. And the ways to teleport around would kind of be like Mass Effect and KOTOR, where you have like those terminals and taxi cabs where it like presents you with a list of places to go. Obviously, it would be more like interacting with buttons and VR chat than it would be in those games, but and because that has multiple entry points in that like design, that would be like a source of inspiration as well for having like multiple spawns and everything. Instead of just having a fucking parking lot that everyone gathers in, looks at B Club for. But yeah, basically the reason why I kind of latch onto the Presidium is because I want to make something that's a little more sci-fi, because that's kind of my specialty, I guess. Like all the games that I've made, like personal projects anyways, most of them, most of the stuff I'm like familiar with and dabble with is sci-fi, like of like the space kind of sci-fi, that is. Because I know sci-fi can mean more than just space, but um but I don't want it to feel cold and too sci-fi, because I worry about it falling into a niche that people only want to visit on like occasions, and I want it to be like a more general purpose world. Because at the end of the day, I kind of just want to make something I too would want to be in, and everyone else wants to use, basically, that I hang out with, like on Fridays and Saturdays after Harvest's meetup. And I want to make something that doesn't have a bunch of advertisements everywhere and premium stuff. Because that's just kind of, I mean, I get it. I get why that's a thing. It's just so jarring. Like B Club is so, I can't, it's no wonder no one's using it anymore with the Friday meetups and the Saturday meetups that I go to. It's fucking, it somehow got worse since I last was there. And some of them are using AI, like just that very obvious style with like a fox or whatever. And it's just like, this is gross. And I've also just kind of not liked how big booba anime girls everywhere. So clearly it's going to be like more sci-fi furry, the one I want to make, but it's not going to be like too furry either. Largely because I don't really know how I would make it furry without just like shoehorning models in there. And I kind of don't want to do that. Because I mean, after all, the one of the things I didn't like about B Club was the NPCs walking around everywhere. It's like it's very confusing, because then I think it's an actual person, and I'm like, oh no, this is just a fucking NPC. Yeah, what does a furry environment look like? Yeah, I don't really. What does a furry sci-fi environment look like too? Like I'm sure whatever Harvest comes up with, it's going to be pretty furry coded because it's going to have the foxes everywhere and everything. And the code name I'm going for mine is just going to be Fluff Club. Although I might ditch that depending on like what the design of the overall world ends up being, but like how I said I was like struggling to block out the face, and now the first thing I work on is the face for this part, this stage of it. But it kind of makes sense that I was just struggling to block it out. So I think just like the um oh my god, I just remembered my Minecraft world for when Harvest did his competition for the castle competition. And like I made it very furry coded by putting banners everywhere with foxes on them. And first of all, just like having like symbols of animals would be like a very easy, low effort way of doing it. But also I kind of want to turn my Minecraft world into a VR chat world. I was saying too, I wanted to turn my I can blend this. This will be better if I just blend it. I wanted to turn my Game Jam game I made a while back into a VR chat world. Let me see if I can. So there is a the Game Jam game. I'm gonna open this up in like a different browser because I'm afraid of. Well, no, I can just do this. I know what I'm doing. Studio mode. Add. Maybe just add display capture. Transform. Fit to screen. Make it right above Krita. I guess studio mode isn't actually listening to me, so now you just see this. Oh well. So there is a Game Jam game for a horror. There's HQ Residential House Game Jam that John Wolf hosted. This is take me to the Game Jam. So there's like a infamous assets called HQ Residential House. And basically, is my display capture just frozen? What the hell? Okay, let me remove the display capture. It's not working. Not application audio. Window capture. This. Transform. Fit to screen. I need people to remember fit to screen is a thing that exists. People are always trying to like drag it around like, ah. Am I back? Okay. Don't do that, I guess. So yeah, do fit to screen, please. Hold on. Am I just seeing if refreshing? There we go. Okay. Making sure I'm not behind. Let me restart my VTuber. Yeah, so I was being like, oh yeah, don't resize your window like that. You can just right click it and hit fit to screen. No one remembers to do that, but apparently if I do that, it just crashes my fucking computer. Venian is like, I'm pretty like Venian has been not happy when I do certain things. Venian, yep, it's still running. Kill. Okay, there we go. And then Venian. So yeah, it's a very infamous asset called HQ Residential House. And I wonder if my camera is going to be behind. Okay, it's a little bit behind, but I can just like, I think I'll just cope with it for this stream, for the rest of the stream, maybe. I don't know. And this is like the what the asset kind of looks like from the outside, and then it's in like 100 million gajillion games, as you can see here. And there's some good games made with it, but there's it's a lot of people, what they do is they don't read orient, like you it's designed so that you can, oh yeah, one of the houses in Phasmophobia is also HQ Residential House. um you're supposed to like change the layout, but people don't do that. They just get the asset and then use it as is. And so John Wolfe made a game jam to feature the house in some way. It doesn't have to be the like main, it does, you don't have to buy the asset, you could just recreate it. And it doesn't have to be a horror game. It doesn't, it just do something with it as the theme. And what I did was a like an atmospheric, I don't want to say mascot horror, but it kind of is, I guess. This was before mascot horror really became a thing. Um and I was really like, I did everything myself. Music, art, UI, everything. Um there's just like a few sound effects I found online because I didn't like the ones I recorded. But this was like the texture style I went with, like this to try to like mimic Animal Crossing. I was actually referencing a lot of things from Animal Crossing when I was making this, and so it very much looks like it is the default layout for HQ Residential House, but Animal Crossing instead. And I was thinking it would be funny to make a VR chat world with the house I made for that. But um something just like moved on my stream manager again. That's so annoying. It's so distracting when it does that. But yeah, it would be, I think it would just be funny to, it wouldn't be like a serious world because I don't think it would make a good VR chat world. But that is also kind of like the texture style I kind of want to go with still. Maybe. I don't know how well it would work with doing sci-fi. I think it would be fun to see if I could make that sort of, it doesn't necessarily have to be Animal Crossing style, but just seeing if that would work with sci-fi or not. It probably wouldn't. Not sure. I'm pretty quick when it comes to like furniture modeling, so that's not entirely something I'm worried about. I mean, I did that entire game myself solo, all of the assets in like about 2 months. And I got a whole hell of a lot done. I mean, a lot of it I was on for like a month of that. I think I was on like winter break for my college. Maybe. I don't remember what I was doing. But I did have like the extra time sort of. I don't know. I think I might have been doing my internship, in which case I would not have had the time, especially because I did have a class during that internship too. I think I just had a lot more motivation back then than I do now. I just kind of I finish work and I don't want to do anything else after work, which is why a lot of my stream schedule comes down to if I have energy and feel comfortable doing it. Be alive. Can I vanish into you? A lot of the art ideas Harbus had for his was like really fun as hell. I don't think mine's going to be anywhere near as like fun like that. But I think there is something to be said about fun versus practical too. Not that his is impractical. I'm just saying that we're definitely going to be going for like different things. So it kind of makes me feel better about still doing mine. I mean, at the end of the day, it's very much the situation, that meme of yum two cakes, when people are like, oh, this person's doing this and this person's doing this, or I'm doing this. And it kind of makes me feel like no one wants, people will only like want one, but it's like, no, people are capable of wanting more than one thing. Especially like, even though a VR chat world, you kind of like go boot with what's comfortable. Sometimes you just need variety, even if you like a world. So, but yeah, it part of the reason too is I just kind of miss doing level design stuff. And I feel like it would also just be a way for me to kind of dip my feet back into game dev without really making a game necessarily. I love how this song is literally a Taylor Swift's song, but like better than Taylor Swift would make. This is very much Taylor Swift core of a song, and yet it's kind of better. It's basically a game world without all the game stuff. Yeah. I mean, there are like games, but I'm pretty sure most of those are like just prefab assets you can. I don't know if VR chat makes them or if people like buy, like, I don't know where people are like I'm thinking like the drinking games, the pool, anything like that. Clearly they're like presets from somewhere because so many worlds have the same exact ones. Those are definitely going to be lower on my priority because most of the people I hang with never use those. So, like, they sometimes get used, but it's very rarely. So it's like I won't have to worry about that right away. I know a lot of people did not like how big certain worlds like B Club 4 are because it makes it harder to get around. I still kind of want to make a bigger world though, and I want to just alleviate that with the teleporter system. And I think too, if I make it like, and the reason why I'm like, it would be nice to have it be a bigger world. More accurately, I'd want it to be like I can expand on it kind of easily. So that if I do, like, for example, want to incorporate like games and stuff, it would kind of like have its own dedicated space. And it would feel like a world. It wouldn't just be very large room that people hang out in. It would actually be like a world you can explore, but you can still get around because at the end of the day, most of the people want a world to talk to their friends in. But a lot of people kind of get bored. It's a balancing act, and think I have ideas to balance that act. You're a bad romance. Oh, oh, oh. Some people love world hopping, so bring some of that variety to a single world. Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of people I know that really love just like exploring worlds. And it's like, well, why not give you that in the same world? Like bring that energy of, oh, I want to go over to the club, I want to go over to etc. And it could be like a fun like little walk, or you could do the fast travel. Only problem is you have to make all that world. I mean, the thing is too is that like the ideas I'm basing it off of is kind of like it's a space station Presidium sort of thing. There's a lot of big open areas. They're kind of simple. They don't have a whole lot there. A lot of the decor is like repeated objects like trees and foliage and just some like benches and stuff. It's like there's not like if you look at like the Presidium, especially considering it's like a 2000, like the first Mass Effect was 2008, and they were definitely kind of not great in like the world, like the open world department, because of those like missions with the, what was it, the Mako, I think is what the vehicle was called. They were all just like someone played around in a terrain editor for like an hour and called it a day. But there's also like a lot of that too is just they didn't have the fidelity that we have nowadays, and but it still looks very nice, and I feel like it would be nice to have a VR chat world that's kind of like that sort of Presidium area. And you get a lot just by making a bigger space, and I feel like a lot of the worlds I've been in it felt cramped, and I feel like if I was in VR it would feel even more cramped. I'm not like super claustrophobic, but I am like a little bit, especially like in a more social situation. Cause like I have like a small room, and my dorm in uni was pretty small. But like as soon as you introduce it with like people, then it kind of like starts being a problem for me. And like since I'm like, you know, very theory encoded, very much like I like an open net. I like open natural spaces the most, which is kind of why I keep referencing the Presidium in particular, because it has a lot of the foliage and water and everything, the waterfront. Um, and a lot of the areas I've liked in like the bee clubs and all that have been like the garden areas and such. And those are easier to like make repeated objects for. Maybe, well, I mean, I don't know. I think it's probably about equal, come to think of it. I did not block out this area. Oh no. Yeah, I'm kind of fast when it comes to like 3D modeling. That this was what I was getting into earlier with with that game jam game. I'm fairly fast at like making furniture and stuff. And I always like texture atlas a lot of things together from the get-go. so that like a lot of things are already on, they share the same material, so they'll share the same GPU draw call, so it makes things a lot faster to render in parallel. And I think since I would be doing an iterative approach, it'd basically kind of be like tile set. I would be working with tile sets, I think. Very classic level design technique. I mean, that's basically what most level design is, especially with higher fidelity games. I think my biggest struggle is really just going to be coming up with what I actually want. Because that's kind of my starting from scratch is kind of like it's the biggest struggle for anybody. So I won't be like, oh, it's my biggest struggle, because it's like, well, yeah, no shit, it's everyone's biggest struggle, but it's kind of why I haven't gotten started on it sooner. I've done a few things with Blender and Unity, but nothing super in depth. Like I made a basic world and a basic broken avatar. Yeah, I would love to make a custom. I was wanting to make a custom model for the longest time because I was very unhappy with all the wool designs because they all fit like a very specific niche that is not me. I was actually making a custom model before I even got into VR chat because I wanted something to like for posing for art, because I very much heavily rely on posing things in like an art program or Blender or something. Speaking of blending, I'm just gonna blend this area here. I lost my brush. But making an avatar, I struggle a lot with creating organic shapes from scratch. It's a much different experience than creating rigid furniture. And so I ended up just like not doing it. And that's why I'm very glad I was able to I was like loving the body shape of the Vulper just with like some modifications, and was like, I can definitely like edit a model pretty easily. So that's what I did to make it more wolf-like, and that's why I'm like super fucking happy with this one. Not just because like it is very much, it feels mostly me. The VTuber I think still needs a little bit more work. I need to see how I am in VR before I make the decision, but I've kind of been satisfied with how it looks in VR chat. For some reason, it just like looks a lot different as a in VNian. I think part of it too is because VNian isn't as great. It's better than VC Face, but not by a whole lot. But yeah, I'm sure like my experience with like just using Unity for so long is going to be critical in me being able to do what I can very fast. But yeah, I'm gaining more excitement for working on it, and I'm getting over like my hang up of the two cakes problem, I think. The more I think about it, I'm getting better in general about just not letting intrusive thoughts win. That's kind of just been my biggest struggle for the longest time. I mean, hell, it took so much mental energy just to self-advertise in Arms and Herbus's Discord using the promo channels. Because I feel really fucking weird about using that. Even though that's literally what they're there for. And I just have a lot of intrusive thoughts about a lot of things, and it's something I've been getting better about, I think. Letting the good intrusive thoughts win, parentheses horny, and letting the making the bad ones go away. Whatever you make would be unique and different. Yeah, I'm definitely like, I can tell definitely just based off of like his ideas and my ideas, we want different things. And after all, it's kind of like what he's making is specifically for like his meetup. And like mine is kind of like I'm targeting like this Setsu Friday meetup and a friend group Saturday meetup that I usually go to after Harvests, which are kind of more chill, low key a lot of the time. Not that his is like not chill, it's just more like it is a little bit more higher energy. Ooh, crunchy bones. Struggle a lot with sticking with personal projects. Yeah, that is another thing I definitely struggle with, is just sticking with anything that takes longer than like a month, I would say. And with art, struggling with anything that takes longer than a couple sessions, which is kind of like another nice thing about streaming, is it kind of holds me accountable to finishing a piece a little bit. So like even if I don't finish this, I want to finish it to have that sort of finality. Even though streaming is very much just like, it's kind of just a thing that some people see. It's not like episodic where people are watching all the way through, so. But still, I'm doing it. So it's, for me, it's very much like I want to see it something to completion. Which is why if I do any sort of games, I want them to not be very long, which is kind of why I'm sticking to older games, because they're not usually that long. Unless they're a JRPG or something, which I don't really have interest in anyways, so. Oops, I'm going to make this brush a little bigger. Whoa, maybe a little less opacity too. That looks all right, I guess. Just dance. Oop. I'm sure one of the things that would probably be a good idea to incorporate is like a nightclub, because I'm sure plenty of people would be interested in that. And going with the sci-fi vibe, the nightclub on Omega in Mass Effect would be like a huge source of inspiration. I'm not really much of a nightclub vibe person, so it'll be a struggle a little bit, and I probably will phone it in a little bit, but that's where like feedback comes in play and everything anyways, so it's VR. You can hang on out on top of a mountain or in space or whatever. Oh yeah, oh my gosh, I just like randomly remembered that virality world that Harpus picked one day. There was kind of like that 3 tier. It felt kind of like a night in Valheim in the like starting biome a little bit. There's another world I like. It was like one of the first worlds I was ever like in. I don't remember what it was called. I think it was something Champaloo or something weird like that. It had quite a bit of post processing with like the color grading, but it was like good. And it also felt very much like I was in the starting world or biome of Valheim. And when I think of worlds, I just like my main draw is just anything very natural spaces, which is very ironic considering I want to do like sci-fi stuff and really get drawn to sci-fi. Which, to be fair, like one of my like motifs I want to really work with, just in general, is like blending nature and technology together in a very like harmonious way. And I do kind of want that with the world. Hydration break. Ooh, that is something I need to set up during my week off. Is Sammy. One of the things I should do is just like a take a drink break thing. I know people usually do that as a redeem, but first of all, I'm still thinking about it. Maybe I'll apply for affiliate. I'm kind of just like I don't want my tax information on Twitch's servers. And I kind of like that if you're not an affiliate, you don't get ads. It would be nice to be able to remain ad free. And lastly, I just don't want people giving me money because it would make my taxes more complicated. Like I really much enjoy that I can just it literally takes me like 10 minutes to do my taxes, except when I do my city ones, which takes like another 10 minutes. As soon as Twitch is like, we want your tax information so we can make it a part of your fucking taxes and shit. And it's like, why? It ain't your business. Let me do what I do on Bandcamp and just hook up my. I mean, fucking PayPal now, if you get a certain threshold, they send you a fucking W-2 now. But I'm just like, I don't know. I know Cinder's kind of the same way too, so like, I'm glad I'm not the only one. He's like, you guys are making my taxes more complicated. Because I have to put away a certain percent for it now. It's like, yeah, I very much like just being able to get a consistent refund every year, and I only have to spend 10 minutes filing. Transcoding is nice for affiliate. If someone is an affiliate, then generally can't watch on mobile because of it. Yeah, I knew someone who would restart his stream over and over because he couldn't get transcoding as an affiliate. But now that post COVID, everyone and their brother is streaming has died down, it isn't as bad. Right now my quality is really low because I'm getting frame drops for some reason. I don't know why. My ISP just like this past week has decided to start taking a shit. So I have it down to like 2500 bit rate and 30 FPS, which should be like very much like I would be able to watch it on my corn internet if I was back where I used to live. Because, yeah, where I used to live, we only had like 6 megabits down, 0.2 up. And I couldn't watch anyone at all if they didn't have transcoding. Because people usually do 1080p 60 and then they do. It's the bit rate that really kills it. Because I could watch someone that had like 3000 for the most part, but 6000 was like it was buffering constantly. And I don't think I'm going to be, I'm, as long as I don't have affiliate and therefore don't have like transcoding, I'm probably going to just keep it low anyways. You don't need a whole lot for art. And the games I plan on playing are crusty anyways. I think it's just if I do something like uh the racing games that I would do just like as if I don't have anything else I want to stream, those would be I would need higher bitrate for that because they're already barely watchable as is. I'm trying to think of what the game is called and I can't think of what it is. I'm just gonna open up Steam real quick. Ballistic NG, which is basically what's it called? It's a spiritual successor to Wipeout, Roll Cage, and Jetmoto. And there's a couple other ones too. Grip is another one I kind of like. I remember downloading YouTube videos to watch later because they couldn't load in real time. Oh my god. Oof. But yeah, I've since moved and now I kind of have like 500 down, 10 up. The up is very unreliable, I guess, though. But I obviously don't have too much problems. But yeah, and I know mobile is definitely like mobile's even worse because they don't know how to make a fucking mobile app, I guess. Which, to be fair, the mobile ecosystem is just bad. I hate phones, and I hate working with anything with mobile. Phones were a mistake. Oops, that's not the right window. We love them. We love them. Boys, boys, boys. It's funny when people do the y'all got games on your phone. I don't. I don't have fucking anything on my phone. I have Telegram. I recently reinstalled Discord, and that's only because the mobile site is unusable. And there are people I talk to now that I kind of want notifications for. But for the longest time, I was just like, I don't like Discord. I don't want notifications from Discord. And so I didn't have it installed. And then email, browser, Home Assistant for my lights, Jellyfin for my self-hosted equivalent of Netflix, and then Jelly, which is like a music player for Jellyfin, for the self-hosted equivalent of Spotify, which is what I'm playing my music now for stream. I'm literally just doing a window capture for the Jellyfin app, desktop app. Try not to do anything on my phone that I can't do on my computer. My phone is just for when I'm not home. Yeah, exactly. It's literally just for me looking up things if when I'm like out shopping or something, or just messaging people. And even then yeah. And I'm very much just like, social media sucks. Microblogging sucks. It's microblogging that sucks. I didn't want Twitter to. I wanted Tumblr to, I guess. I liked co-host and I was begrudgingly forced onto Blue Sky. And now it's dying. And now there's like no replacement now that co-host is gone. But yeah, phones are Yeah, I've never fucking looked at TikTok. I refuse. I refuse to make a TikTok. I refuse to look at them. I get annoyed when someone posts a video that's from TikTok and then it does the doo 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 at the very end. I feel like I've been duped. I've been had whenever that happens. Yeah, phones are just like not a good. It's just too small. I I can't type with my big bappers, I guess. I do have big hands, I think. Like not like really big hands, but like big enough that it's actually a problem for me to type on mobile a lot of the time. Big old bappers. I need to refer to my hands as paws more often. I feel like a fake Therian and fake furry for not doing that, even though I know that's not true. It's also just cute. There's a lot of things I want to do more of, but like it takes a conscious effort for me to do in that regard. And it's already almost one. Time is flying. I guess talking about the VR chat world stuff really helped make things fly by. I still have enough energy. I want to. I don't know if I'll get to finish shading, but oof, East Coast. Yep. I would stream earlier, but I don't like live alone, and I'm kind of beholden to whether or not my mother needs anything of me sometimes. So it very much complicates things, and I'm just kind of not comfortable streaming while she's awake, basically. Even though I'm like in my I moved my setup into my room now so that I have privacy. I'm not entirely like out with her like going by Alex for another note. So yeah, I want my own place before I've kind of been debating on just saying fuck it and doing it earlier and just putting like a please don't disturb me sign up. Cause yeah, I don't like streaming this late. Not a lot of people are up anyways, at least on East Coast. And even on West Coast, it starts to get to be late for people who go into like the office, etc. So, oops. Because like my ideal schedule would literally be right after work, five, so basically 5 to 7. On weekends, probably a little bit earlier. Moving out was really good for me. Yeah, I so much of my mental health has been tied to just not having a place of my own to be myself. And I was like having a lot of mental spirals, which is kind of why I started streaming in February and then took like a long hiatus from doing it. Moving 2 states away from my parents, but that's a different story. I want to move states just solely because Ohio sucks ass. Ohio's just a fucking terrible state. It really annoys me too when Ohio defenders in chat speak up whenever I speak out against Ohio. It's like there are some decent parts, but it's like NBs don't exist legally in the slightest. Trans people barely exist. DeWine is a massive cunt. I'm just gonna fucking say it. If you go in any rural area, they want to be a part of the Confederacy so bad. And they have like signs that straight up say all Democrats are terrorists. It's insane how like it's like being in a southern state. And I'm in like very turbo suburban Akron. It's like really dense suburbs and kind of like lower income, rundown. Like where I am specifically, it's not that bad, but it's like really close to some of like the more like abandoned housing and such. And there were like last year, like 2 or 3 mass drive-by shootings, like within a block of my house. So like a lot of my physical activity is basically zero, and that's why a lot of my energy is basically zero, because I don't really feel safe like going on walks anywhere. I'm fine. I don't think I'm like in active danger as long as I don't leave and walk around. I mean, the bigger danger is just the fact that the sidewalks are all run down and people drive like maniacs. And there's a lot of places that just don't have sidewalks, period. So, yeah. I would like to get out of here. I did not shade the nails for this. Oh well. I can. And so whenever people are like, Ohio's not all that bad, I've lived in the rural areas and I've lived in like the suburb outside the city. It's bad. I think Western Ohio is probably not as bad. And I know like Chillicothe, where some family is also nicer too. It's a lot more chill. A lot of it is like North and East Ohio. But yeah, I forget where I was going with this. Yeah, it would just be nice to leave and have my own place and also be in a I just want my own place so I can have my own space to be myself and I could stream earlier and just feel more comfortable to do a whole lot of things I haven't been able to. Part of it, I think, at this point is just like it's still a ways out that I might have to just do the things I want to do and cope. But because I think it's just better to not let it like rule my life at that point. And it's going like basically my main hang up is just I want to have enough savings and I want to have a car so that in case my job gets any funny ideas laying off people, my field of work has kind of done away with remote work a fair bit. And I want to be able to expand my job options by having a car. Also, I just want to be able to go to cons too with I don't want to air travel. I want to avoid that as much as possible. I say making my next con Vancouver, which is going to be the first time I've ever gone through an airport and left this time zone and left the country, etc., etc. A lot of firsts. I should probably look into CBD with my anxiety problems. I'd like to get up to Vancouver. Yeah, I just really want to see Harbus and a bunch of other people. It's kind of like basically ever since I went to AC, that was my first con. I went to AC this year. And it became a lot more important for me to see people. And playing Outer Wilds also like contributed to that. Oh, hi Harb. uh but yeah, so but for the most part I want to do like cons I can do within a driving distance within like a day, which is kind of why I've been looking at Virginia because there's like some decent stuff about it for like being trans and everything. Not West Virginia, but like regular Virginia. Um, and another nice thing would be it would be equidistant to a lot of like the major East Coast cons. Like every single major con would be one day within a day of a car drive. So I think at this point, I'm more so just going to try to get my own place within Ohio first, because my job has made it a lot more complicated recently to move states. They basically are like, we're not going to tell you what states you're allowed to move to, but yeah. Oh, this is coming along so nice. Oh my God. I'm so happy. Oh my God. Maybe it's a cruel, but I just don't know Judas, baby. Oh, I haven't had that reaction with a art piece in I don't think ever. It's looking nice. Thank you. Yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, I've not had a reaction like that with art, like I don't think ever. Just for context for everyone, Um, I do have the outfit drawn, so I'm gonna have to do a lot of this again. Not really again. It'll be. I can share the layer for a lot of it, but the outfit the Megabonk Fox has is there, but for reasons wink wonk, I'm doing the body unclothed first. Still in love with Judas, baby. I'm in the Seattle area, so a local con is ANW. I have a mix. I'm sorry for you a little bit. And I can drive to Fervana and Vancouver. Oh my god, there's so many people I know that are like, Seattle's great. It's just like, god damn, is it expensive though? That's like the one single nice thing about being in Ohio is really low taxes and inexpensive as all hell. That's kind of how I can get by doing what I do and have a lot of like tech hobbies and support friends and all that, solely because it's a lower cost of living. Even though my job doesn't pay anywhere near the median they should be paying. But yeah. A&W has some drama. I volunteered for them in the past, but not anymore. It's because it's owned by a fucking right-wing religious fanatic. That's why. And yeah, they're very much they're like the only US con at this point that's kind of still a stickler about pup hoods, which is like basically, okay, so I'm not going then because I can't really afford a fursuit. So I have a pup hood. It's not a kink thing for me. It's literally just a nice headspace as an interim until I can do a fursuit. I mean, I want to do like something with a 3D printing sci-fi head at some point. I just have not gotten around to it. Too many other projects that are kind of like taking priority. Especially now that I'm fucking adding the VR chat world that I want to do on top of it, and art, music. I'm kind of having more music ideas for like a new album. Even though it's very unfortunate, I feel like my best album I've ever made so far has gotten like zero attention. It's fine. I do it for me anyways, but it got zero attention, I feel like. I keep advertising it every time there's a Bandcamp Friday. Being like, hey, by the way, I make music. People are still surprised by that sometimes. It is what it is. It's fine. I will probably play my own music at some point on here. I've just kind of, I don't know, it feels weird. Again, it's another intrusive, like I was saying with intrusive thoughts earlier, it feels very self-absorbed to play my own music, even though I've like actually kind of enjoyed listening to like most of the music I've made I've never enjoyed listening to it afterwards. This is like the first time I've actually enjoyed what I've made where I would actually listen to it unironically and not just as sources of inspiration for what to do next or maybe redo what I've made. I should probably take another drink break real quick. Mm. Yeah, too many projects. I have too many. I spread myself thin with interests, and all of them are computer related, which is also unfortunate because then I have too much screen time, and then because I don't get out a whole lot due to personal safety. That's why every time someone's like walkies, it's like, oh, that sounds I wish I want to go on walkies. I wish it was safe. That sounds familiar. What sounds familiar? Oh, just having too many projects. Walkies? I want walkies. I where I grew up was a very rural area and I did not take advantage enough of being able to like go on walks. I mean, after I graduated, I had a lot of health problems and a cancer scare and so I would whenever I was having a lot of health anxiety, I would take walks around our pond. We had like a very huge pond. Um so I did at least kind of make use of it. Having a bunch of venture cell computer, yeah. But I only like stayed there after uni for like another year and then I moved. It's basically I moved from living with my dad to living with my mother, so cuz the struggle there was like being even more isolated even though I'm still kind of basically turbo isolated here, so and yeah, AC going to AC made me realize just how isolated I am. But it is also giving me more to look forward to now that I'm kind of like willing to go to cons. This has kind of really helped pull me out of that funk. This spot is bothering me because it's still not shaded and I really need to shade that. Ugh, I like deselected that brush somehow. Uh, there's like a little bit of shading I should probably do here to break this up. Kind of, oop, no, not, no, no. This brush does not like cooperating with me sometimes. I'm on the edge, the edge, the edge, the edge, the edge. Oh, that was risky hitting that note. Harper's keeps mentioning bike rides too, and that was something I never really did when I was younger. I've never like ridden a bike because the road that I grew up by was just kind of, it's a rural, oh my god, I'm having the divvy struggle. Rural road. Um that trying to think of what I was trying to say. Like a one lane oh, I think the music ran out. It was a one lane road, kind of like it, one and a half basically, and it was very warped and it was very like rocky and just like I was worried that it wasn't really safe to ride a bike on, even though I've definitely seen people riding bikes there. So I just like never took an interest though myself. And I was like, oh, I really wish I like had a bike and could bike places. But again, I kind of want to be somewhere else before I can do that. Okay, find new music. I'm probably just going to put on this because I don't feel like digging. Probably turn it up a little bit too because it's a bit quieter, I think. Or maybe it isn't. Maybe it's just quiet for me. I don't know. It's hard for me to gauge OBS a little bit because it's kind of looking like it's actually a little bit louder. I think my speakers are just quiet right now. Should uncover. There we go. Not that anyone has said anything to go in auto mod, but my auto mod queue was like covered by OBS. So I was like, I should probably just make sure that isn't. That's another reason why I want to set up a bot, because I don't want to rely on auto mod because auto mod sucks ass. I want to have it with much looser settings, but just filter out words, I guess, and links. Actually, I don't care about links. If someone posts a bad link, I'll just fucking delete it. Not that big a deal. Chat doesn't move fast enough to warrant automatically suppressing links. And it's really annoying when someone wants to share something. When you want to share something and you just can't have the context to what you're talking about. I get it. It's just, I don't care. But the bots usually get around it by just doing the fucking remove, type in whatever in your browser, just remove the dot. It's like, shut the fuck up. I ain't want your viewers. I already don't want to do this professionally. And your fake viewers aren't going to give me a chat. That's what I want. A real chat. I don't understand the draw. Why is that still a thing? head to bed. Nice to chat and have a good night. You too, Ren. Nice to have you here. It was nice to chat with you. I'm almost done myself. It's getting kind of late, and I do still have one more day of work before my break. So I would be working in like 7 hours. Well, like 8, no, 7 hours ish. Oh, I forgot the other foot. Gosh, when this brush works, it's so nice. And it makes me want to do oil painting again since it's a wet knife, which I'm pretty sure is oil related. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid. It's 1 a.m. I'm probably a little stupid. A little minus int as a treat. Not stupid, tired. I know. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not really that tired. I'm just I mean I am getting a little tired, I guess. I think I just have there's like a certain energy I get from streaming that I don't normally get. I've like completely turned around from being like very introverted to being very I mean I'm still somewhat introverted. It's very much like true introverts, extroverts don't really exist. Everyone's ambivert to an extent. But I'm feeling a lot more sociable and it gives me more energy. There's still situations where it does not. It's very draining. That's usually just places I don't want to be. But streaming, chatting, like I get like a fair bit of anxiety still before I go live. And I still have that hesitation hitting the button, but it's getting less. It's a lot less than it used to be already. And oh, I'm hitting redo. That's why. Um, and it goes away a lot faster now. And now I just kind of like get more and more energy a little bit. But it's dwindling for sure. kind of look at my ref here. It's kind of a little bit of oops. Okay. That that looks good. Probably a little just like subtlety there. I don't know. I'll think on it. It might just be good, just like that, actually. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, I'll definitely finish this up before stream ends. I'm very close to being. Well, I still got to do like the like abs and pecs, but I mean, the next stream I will be working on the clothing anyways, so I can leave that for that stream too. Because those will take a bit more time than I'm willing to keep going for, but they won't take up too much time from the clothing part. Gosh, I love having tilt on this tablet. I thought it was a gimmick. I didn't think it would actually be this useful. It really is nice to have, particularly for this brush especially. It like relies on it. There we go. It's also getting hot in my room because I have the vent closed and my computer kind of heats up. So it's another reason I want to get going so that my room has a chance to cool down. Because it is hard to sleep in heat. I don't know what it is about this computer that it's like a furnace, and I don't know why my room just traps the heat. Go back on my reference here. Let's kind of go to his. Is it like a hard edge on his? I mean, yeah, it's low poly, so of course. It's kind of like a hard edge, so I will keep it as a hard edge. Make my brush smaller here. Kind of blend this a little bit because it's not quite a hard edge. It's not like a sharp edge, but it isn't like very smooth either. Kind of do a little bit of ambient occlusion right around here too. To really, oh yeah, that was a good idea. Probably bring that all the way down. And blend that a little better. And there we go. Yeah, this is looking really nice. So, yeah, I'm very happy with how this is coming so far. So the next time I stream, don't know exactly what day it will be. It will just based, like I have said, based on if I have the energy and desire, space, etc. But I will be working on shading the clothes, and then maybe if there's enough time coloring, I take only like 10 minutes to really color anyways. So, but yeah. And with that, I might go ahead and raid someone. Do I just raid a chair again? um, oh, Henways has a new model. Do I see what Henway? Oh my god, he has his, what is that? The Nardo or something? Okay, I'm going to raid Henway. So stick around for the raid. Do I have a raid message? Do I do a raid message? I don't have emotes. Is it worth coming up with one? I don't know. um yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead, raid Henway, and Henway underscore new is new to stream. Yeah. So yeah, I will go ahead, call it there. Let me go to studio mode real quick and transition there. And yeah, have a nice night. And I will see you all when I see you.